Imagine standing on a really busy street in a totally new city.
Oh, yeah. That classic scenario.
Right. And a friendly stranger just walks right up to you, and maybe they ask for directions, or maybe they just ask about the food you were eating.
Just a simple question.
Exactly. And you know the vocabulary. I mean, you have studied the grammar for years. The English words are sitting right there in your head.
But they don't come out.
No. The moment you open your mouth to reply, your brain suddenly goes completely blank. You just freeze.
It's the worst feeling.
The silence feels so heavy, and you honestly just want to run away. So why does knowing English on paper rarely translate to actually speaking it in real life?
Well, it is the most common, frustrating, and honestly the most terrifying feeling for an English learner.
It really is.
But I want to tell you, the listener, right now, you are not alone in this. And it is definitely not your fault.
Not at all.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are so glad you are here with us, and we are talking directly to you.
Yes, a huge welcome to you.
Our mission today is to really explore real-life conversations for beginners. We're going to look at exactly why you freeze and, more importantly, how you can improve your spoken English with real, genuine confidence.
I am so ready for this. Let's unpack this freezing problem right away because, I talk to so many learners and they literally all say the same thing.
What do they usually say?
They say, I can read a whole book in English, but I cannot order a cup of coffee without my hands shaking. Why does that happen?
Right. So it happens because speaking is a physical action, and it's an emotional action, not just a mental one.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, when you are reading, you have time. But when you are speaking to a real human being, your brain experiences something called cognitive load.
Cognitive load. Okay.
That just means your brain energy is suddenly doing way too many things at once. You're thinking about grammar rules. You're worrying about your accent.
By trying to read their face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are looking at the other person's face to see if they actually understand you. And you are terrified of making a mistake. It is a complete processing overload.
So it really has absolutely nothing to do with intelligence.
Nothing at all. I want to assure you right now, you do not need perfect grammar before you start speaking.
That is such a relief to hear.
I repeat, you do not need perfect grammar. You do not need to memorize a giant textbook just to have a meaningful interaction with another human being.
Okay, so if the textbook is not the answer, what does this all mean for us? How do we actually fix that freeze?
The simple way to think about it is to stop focusing on academic rules and start focusing on real-life conversations.
And when we say real life, we definitely do not mean giving a giant speech about the global economy at the United Nations.
Right. We mean the small things. We mean borrowing a phone from a stranger because your battery died.
Or talking about the weather.
Exactly. Asking for directions to the train station or just talking about the food on your plate. Avoiding abstract language is really the key here.
Yeah, practicing these simple everyday interactions is the absolute foundation of daily life. I mean, this is how you make friends. This is how you build habits.
I love that perspective. The small talk is the big talk.
It really is. Okay, before we jump into our main story today, I want to show you, the listener, how a small change makes a really big difference in how you speak.
Let's do it.
Let's do a little language upgrade right now. If I am a beginner and I want to say why I like this topic, I might use a weak, simple sentence like, I like real-life conversations.
Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that sentence. The grammar is technically perfect.
But
it is a bit empty. It is a dead end. If you say that to someone, the conversation just stops. They just say, oh, okay.
Right. So how do I make it better without using, super difficult words?
You add a simple reason. You give the other person a window into your mind.
Okay.
If I wanted to upgrade that, I would say, I like real-life conversations because it makes daily decisions clearer.
Oh, wow. That is so much better. I like real-life conversations because it makes daily decisions clearer. You just added the word because.
Yes. Adding because invites the other person to keep talking with you. It shows you actually have an opinion.
Keep that rhythm in mind, everyone listening, because today we are going to follow a story.
A very relatable story.
Yeah, it is a story about 4 new college students. Their names are Emma, Jane, Ryan, and Jake. We are going to follow these 4 people through a single busy day, scene by scene.
And through their simple daily moments, we are going to build your speaking confidence.
Exactly. We are going to stop, look at the English they use, and really practice it. Are you ready? Let's dive right into the first scene.
Let's set the scene. It is morning. We are in Emma's home. She's in her kitchen, and she is cooking some egg rice.
Sounds delicious.
It does. Now, her friend Jane has a brother named Jake, and Jake comes over to visit. Jake has brought a secret pink gift with a beautiful ribbon for Jane.
A secret gift. I love it.
But while Jake is standing in the kitchen waiting, he notices something immediately. Emma has a very clean, highly organized house. Everything is in its perfect place.
Okay, here's where a lot of learners completely struggle, talking about daily routines.
Oh, absolutely.
Jake might look around and say, wow, Emma, your house is so clean. How do you keep it so nice? And boom, the learner panics.
Yes, the freeze happens. And why? Because the learner thinks they need to explain their entire cleaning process from start to finish.
They really do.
They think they need to find the specific English words for sweeping, mopping, dusting the shelves, and organizing the cabinets.
Exactly. Let me play the role of the real learner here. I am Emma, I am nervous, and my English is limited.
Go for it.
If Jake asks me about my routine, I start searching for words. I might say something broken like, I go to the room and the dirt is there, so I I am taking the brush for the floor, and I do this in the morning time before the sun comes up.
Okay, I see what's happening. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
I cleaned it in the morning.
Yes. Notice the massive difference there. Let me give you a simple example of why that is so much better.
Please do.
I cleaned it in the morning is 6 simple words. It answers the question perfectly without getting lost in the details.
But wait, let me push back on that a little bit. If I just say, I cleaned it in the morning, won't Jake think I'm being kind of rude?
Not at all.
Won't he think my English is bad because I didn't use big descriptive words?
That is a very common fear, but it is completely false. Native speakers actually love clarity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, think about it in your own first language. If you ask someone why their house is clean, you don't want a 10-minute lecture on how to use a broom.
That's a good point. I definitely don't.
You just want a friendly answer. I cleaned it in the morning. Is natural, polite, and confident. Remember your confidence reminder here. You do not need to sound perfect to say this well.
It is such a huge relief to realize that I don't have to explain the entire philosophy of cleaning. I can just state the fact. I cleaned it in the morning. Done. So Emma says exactly this to Jake, and Jake smiles. The conversation moves beautifully without any stress.
And that moves us right into our next moment with Emma and Jake, which brings up another massive fear for English learners.
Which is?
Making choices and discussing preferences.
No, that is a tough one.
Jake is standing there waiting for the egg rice, and Emma asks him a direct question. She says, Jake, do you like spicy food?
Uh-oh.
Jake says yes, but he makes a very specific choice. He says, medium spicy.
I can literally feel the learner panic right now. Getting asked for an opinion or a preference. When someone asks, what do you want or how do you like it, we just freeze.
It's the pressure of the spotlight.
Yeah, like what if I say the wrong thing? What if I don't know the word for the exact level of spice I want?
It is a total psychological block. When someone asks, do you like this? Learners often freeze because they feel like they're taking an exam.
Right, like there's a grade attached to it.
They feel like there's a right answer and a wrong answer.
Yeah.
They completely forget that it's just a simple question about food.
So true. Let's practice upgrading how we talk about this fear. If I am the learner and I am talking to you about how hard it is to give an opinion, I might say a very weak sentence like, this topic is difficult.
Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
This topic feels difficult at first, but it becomes easier when you explain it with simple examples.
Brilliant. Look at the structure there. You've acknowledged the difficulty, but you added a solution.
I like that.
And this applies perfectly to Jake and the spicy food. Jake didn't panic and try to explain his entire history with chili peppers. He just used a simple parameter, medium spicy.
Let me challenge you again on this. Is medium spicy actually a full sentence?
In spoken English, yes.
Because as a learner, I was taught in school that I must always reply with a full subject and verb, like, I would prefer if the food was medium spicy, please.
That is exactly the difference between textbook English and real-life spoken English. In real life, context is everything.
Context over grammar.
Always. Emma knows they are talking about food. She knows she is cooking. So Jake does not need to repeat all that information back to her.
That makes total sense.
Medium spicy is literally 2 words, but it contains a complete, clear message. Giving an opinion doesn't require a 5-minute speech. 2 words can express a clear choice.
Medium spicy, it is so natural, it is friendly. Okay, let's keep going with Jake and Emma in the kitchen.
Let's do it.
Remember, Jake has this secret pink gift with a ribbon for his sister Jane.
Right, the secret gift.
He needs to go somewhere, so he hands the gift to Emma because Jane isn't there yet. He looks at Emma very seriously and says, please don't open it.
And Emma promises not to look inside.
This brings us to a crucial function in spoken English: how to make simple promises and build curiosity without overcomplicating things.
Making a promise in another language always feels so heavy, like you need to swear an oath in a court of law.
Exactly. If I am the learner, I might try to translate the feeling of a promise directly from my native language. I might say something very dramatic like, I am giving you my word that the box will not be opened by my hands today.
Wow, that is intense. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
I promise I won't open it.
Much better. What that means in real life is simply communicating trust. You're just telling the person, your secret is safe with me.
Right. You don't need a legal contract.
You want to use the simplest words possible so the real emotion comes through, not the grammar. When Jake says, please don't open it, Emma just says, I promise.
I promise. It is so short and easy.
It is. And I want you, the listener, to pause right now and practice the rhythm of this exchange. Spoken English is very musical.
What do you mean by musical?
Well, listen to where the stress or the heavy part of the sound falls. Jake says, please don't open it. Emma replies, I promise.
Oh, I totally hear it. Please don't open it. I promise.
Yes. Notice how the emphasis lands on the action words. We are focusing on clarity here, not accent perfection.
That's a great confidence reminder.
You do not need to sound like a Hollywood actor. If the rhythm is clear, the message is clear.
I love focusing on the rhythm instead of stressing out over the grammar rules. Okay, let's shift our focus to Emma's friend, Jane. This is the girl the gift is actually for.
Where's Jane?
Jane is in her bedroom, getting ready for her very first day of college, and Jane takes a very, very long time getting ready.
Okay.
She is putting on a lot of makeup. She has brushes, powders, lipsticks everywhere. Emma is just sitting there waiting for her.
Oh, the classic scenario of waiting for a slow friend.
Yeah.
This is all about describing daily habits. And again, learners get completely stuck here.
Why do they get stuck here?
They try to find the exact dictionary translation for the specific tiny actions Jane is doing.
Right. If I am Emma and I want to complain to someone about how long Jane is taking, I get lost. I don't know the word for eyeliner or foundation in English.
Most people don't.
So, playing the struggling learner, I might say, Jane is in the room. She is standing at the glass, the mirror, and she is putting the red color on the mouth and the black color on the eye for 1 hour time.
I hear the struggle there. Let's reset. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
Jane takes a long time to do her makeup.
Perfect. Focus on the core message, not the complex physical actions. Jane takes a long time to do her makeup. That is all anyone needs to know to understand the situation.
But what if I really want to be specific? What if I want them to know she is doing her eyes?
You can, but you don't have to when you're a beginner. This is about building confidence. The confidence reminder here for you listening is exactly that. Focus on the message.
So does the person understand I'm waiting?
Exactly. Does the other person understand that you are waiting and Jane is slow? Yes. Then you have succeeded. Your English is working perfectly. You can learn the word mascara next year. Today, do her makeup is enough.
That removes so much pressure. You really don't need a massive vocabulary to tell a good story. Okay, that leads directly into a really interesting social dynamic.
What happens next?
When Jane finally comes out of the bedroom, she has a full face of makeup on. Emma looks at her, laughs a little bit, and teases her. Emma says, "Are you going to college or a party?"
This is a beautiful moment of real-life conversation.
But Jane does not get angry. Jane just smiles, accepts the joke, and says, "It's fun." They are good friends, so the teasing is safe and warm.
Teasing is incredibly hard in a second language. Handling teasing without getting offended is a huge marker of personal growth in your spoken English.
It really is. A lot of learners get stuck here because they translate literally.
What do you mean by translating literally?
Well, if someone jokes, "Are you going to a party?" the learner thinks, "No, I told you yesterday I'm going to college. Why are you calling me a liar?" They think the teasing is a literal insult.
Yes, or they panic and try to defend themselves with pure logic.
Exactly. If I am the learner and my friend teases me, I might panic and say, "No, my location is the college building, not a celebration. Why do you say party? This is wrong."
Okay, pause, breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
I know it's a lot, but I like it.
That is how a confident speaker reacts. You acknowledge the joke lightly. You do not defend yourself like you were on trial in a courtroom.
Right, it's just a joke.
Jane just says, "It's fun." She owns it. Understanding the tone of a real-life conversation is just as important as understanding the vocabulary.
Tone is everything. A simple smile completely changes the meaning of the words. Okay, it is finally time to leave the house.
Like,
Emma and Jane walk out the door and head to the college campus. They arrive, and the campus is absolutely massive. There are buildings everywhere, hundreds of students walking around. Suddenly, they meet our third character, Ryan.
Ryan,
Yeah.
the new student.
Yes, Ryan is a new Bachelor of Arts first-year student, and Ryan has a really big problem. He's completely lost. He needs to find City College and the admission office, and he has to ask these two total strangers, Emma and Jane, for help.
This is pure survival English. How to politely ask strangers for directions without causing alarm or confusion.
Approaching a stranger on the street in a foreign language is terrifying. Your heart is pounding. You forget every word you ever learned.
It's the ultimate test of nerves.
If I am playing Ryan and I am panicking, I might walk up to Emma and Jane and start babbling. Hello, please, strangers? I am in a very lost state. I need the destination. The building of City College for the paper? The admissions. Please give rescue.
I know exactly how that feels, but let's simplify. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
Excuse me. I am looking for City College.
That is it. 7 words. Excuse me, I'm looking for City College. You do not need to explain your entire life story or why you were lost.
Right, they don't need to know I'm a first-year student.
You do not need to explain that at all. Here is your confidence reminder. You do not need to sound perfect to say this well. The phrase, I am looking for, is one of the most powerful, flexible chunks you can memorize.
What exactly do you mean by a chunk?
A chunk is a group of words that live together like one big word. Instead of thinking of I am looking for as 4 separate grammar pieces, you learn it as one continuous sound. I am looking for.
Oh, that makes it so much easier.
Your brain doesn't have to build a sentence from scratch. It just plays the chunk like a song.
That saves so much cognitive load. I am looking for the train station. I am looking for coffee. I am looking for City College. It works every single time.
Yes, it does.
And when Ryan uses this simple chunk, Emma and Jane are so nice about it. They tell Ryan they are going the exact same way and offer to walk with him.
As they walk, Ryan has a really nice moment of vulnerability. He has all his documents ready in a folder, but he admits to Emma and Jane that he's feeling a little nervous.
That's brave of him.
Emma immediately reassures him that being nervous on the first day is completely normal.
Expressing emotions simply is a superpower. When we start something new, our feelings are super complicated. We feel excited, scared, proud, and confused all at once.
It's a lot to process.
But our English does not have to be that complicated.
Precisely. Learners often feel that if they can't express the deep, complex nuance of their anxiety, they shouldn't say anything at all. So they just stay quiet.
Right. Let's do a language upgrade here. As a frustrated learner trying to talk about my nerves, I might just give up and say, I cannot speak about my feelings.
Let's give that learner some power. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
I understand the idea, but I need simpler English and more speaking practice to explain it clearly.
That is a great meta upgrade for the learner. It is perfectly okay to say you need simpler English.
I love that.
And for Ryan in the story, if I wanted to explain his complex feelings simply, I would just say he has his papers, but he feels scared. He doesn't need to describe his adrenaline levels or his childhood fears.
Keep it simple.
I am a little nervous. That simple phrase invites empathy. Emma responds with empathy because the simple message was clear.
I am a little nervous. We can all relate to that. And because Ryan was honest, it opens the door to our next block, keeping a conversation going.
Small talk.
Exactly. When they get to the admission office, there is a really long line. Ryan has to wait with Emma for a while. To pass the time, they start making small talk. They discuss their hobbies. Ryan says he likes music and playing cricket. Emma says she likes reading and cooking.
Small talk is the glue of real-life conversations. The
Okay.
focus here is matching questions and answers. It is not an interrogation. It is a shared experience.
How should a learner think about this? Because honestly, it often feels like an interview. The native speaker asks, what do you like? The learner says, I like cricket, and then silence. Dead air.
The best analogy I can give you is that small talk is like playing catch with a ball.
Playing catch.
Yes. If I throw the ball to you and ask, what do you like to do? You catch the ball by saying, I like music. But the game stops if you just hold the ball.
Ah, I see.
If you just stand there looking at me, the conversation dies. You must throw the ball back.
Ah. So holding the ball is just answering and staying quiet. Throwing it back means asking a question in return.
Exactly. But you don't need a complicated question. If a learner overcomplicates it, try to be way too polite, they might say, my preferred activities of leisure are cricket and music. And what are the activities that bring you joy during your free hours?
That is way too heavy. Let's fix that right now. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
I like playing cricket. What about you?
What about you? It is so simple. It is 3 words, and it throws the ball right back to Emma. That is how they find out Emma likes cooking. What about you is another one of those magic chunks.
Yes. And this simple exchange builds trust. You throw the ball back and forth, and suddenly you are friends, which leads directly to a much deeper conversation.
What happens next?
As they wait, Ryan really opens up to Emma about a big life change. He reveals that he came to this city from Delhi. He traveled all the way alone. He misses his family terribly, he couldn't sleep his first night, and he finds the college hostel a little uncomfortable and strange.
Wow, Ryan is really going through a major personal growth moment here. Moving away from home is huge. This is about discussing heavy, difficult life changes.
When learners try to talk about something deeply emotional, like missing home, they often reach for the most complex vocabulary they can imagine to match the intensity of their feelings. They think big feelings require big words.
Absolutely. If I'm Ryan and I am trying to explain my homesickness, I might search my brain for big academic words. I might say, my relocation from Delhi has caused severe emotional distress in my heart, and the distance from my family unit resulted in an inability to achieve slumber in the bed last night.
I feel the emotion, but the words are completely hiding it. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
I miss my family, and it is hard to sleep here.
That breaks my heart in the best way. I miss my family, and it is hard to sleep here. It is so incredibly human. Simple words carry deep emotion much better than academic words.
They really do.
And I want to give you, the listener, a confidence reminder right now. You don't always need a partner to practice this.
You can practice alone.
Yes, practicing how to express these feelings alone in your room is valid practice. You can stand in front of a mirror at night and say, today was hard. I miss home. That is real spoken English.
It connects you to the language emotionally. It makes the English yours.
Okay, let's leave Ryan and Emma at the admissions office for a minute and look at Jane.
Okay.
We saw Jane putting on all that makeup earlier.
Yeah.
Taking forever. Well, because she took so long, she ends up missing her bus to the campus.
Actions have consequences.
They sure do. So she is standing at the bus stop later in the day, and she is incredibly stressed out. She is panicking, looking at her watch.
Oh, no.
But Ryan happens to be walking by. He sees her, he goes over, and he comforts her. He explains that buses come every 20 to 30 minutes, so she doesn't need to panic.
This is a perfect example of solving simple daily problems. Things go wrong in real life all the time. You miss a bus, you drop your phone, you lose your keys. And when you are in a foreign country or using a second language, a small problem feels like a giant disaster. Jane is absolutely freaking out. She probably thinks she will fail college on the first day.
Let me give you a simple example of how to handle this as a speaker trimming to help. You do not need to explain the entire public transportation schedule.
Definitely not.
You need to provide immediate practical comfort. If Ryan used weak, overly complex English to try and sound smart, he might say, do not exhibit signs of panic, Jane, because the Municipal Transit Authority has scheduled vehicles to arrive at intervals of no more than half an hour.
That sounds like a robot reading a manual. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
Don't worry, another bus will come in 20 minutes.
Don't worry, another bus will come in 20 minutes.
Yes,
It's brilliant. It solves the problem, it lowers the stress, and it uses basic numbers and time vocabulary.
It is functional English. You combine an emotion chunk, don't worry, with a fact, another bus will come.
I love how simple that is.
And because Ryan stayed with Jane at the bus stop and helped her calm down, Jane is very grateful. She looks at Ryan and tells him that because of what he did, he is now officially part of their friend group.
Oh, that's sweet.
Ryan feels so happy and suddenly much less alone in this big new city.
I love this part. This is about natural reactions to kindness, forming habits of gratitude.
Yes, when someone accepts you or compliments you or does something kind, you need a way to react naturally. You don't want to sound like you are reading a script.
Right. If someone says, you are my friend now, and I overthink it, I might say, I acknowledge your statement of friendship, and I am registering a feeling of happiness in my brain.
We can definitely do better than that.
Yeah,
Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
that makes me feel better.
Yes, that makes me feel better. It is authentic. Listeners, I want you to try a pronunciation and fluency technique right now called shadowing.
What is shadowing?
Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say, matching their tone and speed. I'm going to say that short phrase, and I want you to pause right where you are and repeat it aloud. Ready? That makes me feel better.
Feel the rhythm of that. Try it one more time. That makes me feel better. It is smooth. It is polite. It connects you to the other person warmly.
It absolutely does. Let's follow Ryan to his next destination. It is getting later in the day. He finally arrives at his college hostel room. He opens the door, and he meets his new roommate. It is Jake.
Wait, Jake. Remember Jake? Jane's brother from the kitchen scene?
Yes, the guy with the pink gift who likes medium spicy food, so they are roommates now. That is a fun twist.
What a small world.
Exactly. Ryan and Jake sit down on their beds and start talking. Jake reveals he is from a small town, his father is a farmer, and his mother is a housewife. And as they talk, they discover they both have younger sisters who talk way too much.
Finding common ground with new people. This is the ultimate goal of real-life conversations. You are searching for that connection point.
The simple way to think about it is looking for mirrors. You share a fact about yourself, and you see if the other person holds up a mirror to it. You say, I have a sister, and you wait to see if they say, me too.
But learners sometimes make this sharing process too formal, like they're reading a biography of their life.
You're up.
If I am Jake and I want to explain my parents, I might say, my paternal figure engages in the agriculture industry, whereas my maternal figure manages the domestic household duties.
Let's bring that back down to earth. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
My dad is a farmer and my mom is a housewife. What about yours?
Perfect. Short,
Yeah.
factual, and it throws the ball back. What about yours? You are holding up the mirror and asking if they have the same reflection.
What about yours? That is a great chunk.
It is. And through this simple exchange, they discover their sisters are similar. They are building a deep relationship using A1 and A2 level beginner vocabulary.
You really don't need advanced English to make a best friend, and the conversation between Ryan and Jake gets even deeper.
Where does it go?
They start talking about the day they left their hometowns. Both of them share that their mothers cried at the train station, and both of their fathers gave them the exact same advice before they left.
What was the advice?
The fathers told them, work hard and make us proud. Hearing this, Ryan and Jake agree to be like brothers to each other and to stay strong for their future careers.
This brings us to a slightly more advanced function that beginners can master if they keep it simple: retelling a story or repeating a quote.
This is notoriously tough. When I try to tell someone what another person said to me in the past, I get all tangled up in the grammar. Past tense, reported speech, indirect speech. It is a total nightmare.
Let's hear an example of that nightmare.
I might say, he said to me that I should be doing the hard work in the future so that pride will be possessed by him.
I can hear your brain working way too hard on the grammar rules. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
My dad told me to work hard and make him proud.
Yes, you do not need to sound perfect to say this well. Just use the chunk my dad told me to and add the simple action. My dad told me to work hard.
It takes away all the confusion.
It is a direct emotional retelling of family expectations. You don't need complicated reported speech rules. And sharing that simple quote is what really bonds Ryan and Jake together as brothers.
Simplicity creates connection. Okay, let's jump to the very end of this long day. Jane and Emma are back home in their apartment, and they are sitting at the table trying to study.
Oh, studying after a long day is hard.
It really is. But their brains are just not working. It was a long day. They did too much walking on campus. There was so much new information. Emma is completely exhausted. She wants to drink coffee or just go to sleep. But Jane insists they have to focus and read their textbooks.
This is a scenario everyone knows. Talking about being tired and pushing through work, it is a huge part of our daily routines.
When you are exhausted, the last thing you want to do is search your brain for difficult English words. You have absolutely zero cognitive load left.
Exactly. And what that means in real life is you need default phrases.
Yeah, fault phrases.
Default phrases are simple sentences you have practiced so many times that you can say them without thinking, even when you are half asleep. If Emma tries to invent complicated English when she is this tired, she might mumble, The physical exertion of navigating the campus has depleted my cognitive resources, requiring the immediate consumption of caffeine or a period of unconsciousness.
I think if I said that, my friend would think I was an alien. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
I'm too tired. I need coffee or sleep.
Yes, I am too tired. I need coffee or sleep. It is blunt, it is honest, and it is universally understood.
But Jane pushes back. Jane wants to study. Notice how she responds. She doesn't give a long motivational speech about the importance of education.
What does she do?
She uses short, simple commands. Let's focus. Read this line. She uses short verbs to keep them on track.
Short and sweet. And as they are trying to study, the conversation naturally drifts away from the textbooks and into our final block, gossip and friendships.
The fun part.
Yes, Emma notices something. She points out that Jane talked to Ryan a whole lot today. Jane immediately gets defensive and says, "We are just friends."
Classic response.
She tells Emma that Ryan is a nice, shy, honest person, but Emma playfully suggests that maybe, just maybe, they will be something more in the future.
Light-hearted conversation and describing personality. This is the reward of learning a language. Being able to joke, tease, and gossip with your friends is the best part.
But describing someone's personality can feel limiting if you only know a few basic adjectives. You want to capture their true essence. So as a learner, I might reach for the dictionary to describe Ryan.
Oh boy.
I might say he exhibits a psychological reluctance to engage in prominent social interactions and he prefers silence.
Let's rescue that description right now. Try saying that again, but this time in a shorter and clearer way.
He is quiet, but he is very honest and nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
He is quiet, but he is very honest and nice. It paints a complete, warm picture using basic words. You don't need the word introverted when quiet works just as well.
That's a really good point.
And listen, active listening in a conversation like this means pausing, repeating, and reacting to ideas. When Jane says we are just friends, Emma reacts by raising her eyebrows and teasing her. It is the natural rhythm of human connection.
Okay, we have followed Emma, Jane, Ryan, and Jake through this massive, emotional, busy day. We saw them in the kitchen with the secret gift, on the campus asking for directions, at the bus stop dealing with stress, and in the hostel bonding over missing home.
And we saw how simple, chunk-based English got them through every single situation.
Now, listener, it is your turn. We don't want you to just listen and forget. We want to give you a practical task to do over the next week to build your own confidence. We call this the 7-Day Speaking Challenge.
I love a challenge. Grab a pen, everyone.
Walk us through it. What do we do on day 1?
Here is your plan for the next week. Day 1. Tomorrow, listen to this deep dive session again just once, purely for the overall meaning. Do not take notes. Just let the story of the 4 students wash over you.
Okay, that sounds easy. What about day 2?
Day 2. Replay the session, but this time, write down 8 useful chunks you heard us discuss. Remember, a chunk is a group of words that live together. Phrases like, I am looking for, or what about you, or that makes me feel better.
Got it. 8 chunks. And day 3.
Day 3. Shadow the most useful lines aloud. Play the audio, pause it, and speak over our voices. Try to match the rhythm and the stress.
Match the rhythm. Day 4.
Day 4. Talk about the topic without notes for 2 minutes. Just stand in your room, look in the mirror, and explain what happened to Ryan today in your own words.
Oh, speaking without notes is a great challenge. Day 5.
Day 5. Record your voice on your phone talking about the story. Listen back and notice where you hesitate or say, Do not judge yourself, just notice the gaps.
No judgment, just noticing.
Day 6.
Day 6. Retell the topic again into your phone, but try to use even simpler English than you did on day 4. Strip away the difficult words.
Make it simpler. And finally, Day 7.
Day 7. Hold a mini conversation with yourself or a friend using the chunks you wrote down. That is such a solid step-by-step plan. And if you want a quick mini test for today, right now, try to describe what a real-life conversation means in your own words for 1 minute. Or record a short voice note on your phone comparing a good and a bad example of making small talk.
Confidence grows after repeated use, not before. You have to speak the words to build the confidence. You cannot wait for the confidence to magically arrive in your brain before you open your mouth. It doesn't work that way.
That is the honest truth. Now, before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought to think about. We saw 4 distinct moments today. The morning food scene with the secret gift. The college admission scene where Ryan was lost, the stressed-out bus stop scene, and the emotional hostel scene where 2 guys missed their homes.
Which of these simple daily moments matches your own life right now? Are you starting something new? Are you missing home? And how will you talk about it in English tomorrow?
Think about that. You practiced a lot just by listening actively to us today. By understanding the psychology of why you freeze, you are already on the right path to fixing it.
You really are. If you found value in this deep dive and you want more step-by-step guidance just like this, please subscribe to English on Mic.
Yes, and leave a like on the video so we know you want more of this kind of content. We are here to help you keep speaking and keep learning.
Remember that feeling of freezing on the street from the beginning? It is normal, but it is not permanent.
You now have the simple tools to navigate it. Keep it short, keep it clear, and keep speaking. See you next time.